Welcome to my video, everybody watching. I'm going to be showing you guys how I do my closure sew-ins, how I do my foundation and my braids. So first, I'm going to be showing you guys how I do my braid foundation. I just braid my hair down, part it down the middle because that's where my part is going to be, and then braid it down from there. And with the first two braids, those are my anchor braids, so I want to make sure those braids are as tight as possible because that is your closure support. That's what's going to be having your closure hang on tight. And with the first braid, I'm not going to braid it all the way down. I'm going to braid it about halfway because when I start my second braid, I'm going to put the first braid into the second braid. So like I said, I'll be adding the first braid into the second braid. So I just grabbed it and then started braiding. And this is going to keep your foundation nice and flat. So now I'm finished braiding. As you can see, each braid was braided into the next. So I ended up with one tail. So I'm going to go ahead and sew that up my braids. And I put that one braid, the tail, I put that between my French braids so it's not on top of them. So it'll lay flat and it won't show through my tracks. Drink that water, girl. So this is the closure I'm going to be using. I had used this closure previously, but it is still in great condition. I did not bleach these knots. This is how the closure came. I just plucked it. So it was a very, very good closure, and I got that off of Amazon. I'll link the hair in the description below. So right now, I'm just putting the closure where I want it to sit on my head. And you want to make sure when you put it on your head, it is as flat as possible, because this is the most important part of your sewing. And you don't want to sew the lace directly. You don't want to sew the beginning of the lace directly on the braid. You want to leave about ½ an inch. As you can see, I left about ½ an inch of lace at the front, and then I started sewing it onto my anchor braid. And I'm going to do about 3 loops right there, just to make sure it's tight and secure. And I have my hand on top of the closure, pushing it down, making sure it's flat. Because as you're sewing this down, you do not want this closure to move, and it's very easy for it to move. So you want to make sure you're holding it down as tight as possible. And you will have to reposition it quite a few times just to make sure you have everything in place. I'm not going to sew the whole closure around right now, because I'm going to start at the front of the other side just so I can make sure I have everything even. So I'm going to stop as soon as I reach the back. So now I'm just positioning the other side down. This is another crucial part, because once you sew this down, it's down. So you want to make sure you have it in the right spot, right where you want it. And make sure your hand is as flat as possible, holding the closure down. Alright, so now I'm done sewing down the edges of the closure. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and part where my anchor braids are, because now I'm going to sew the closure onto the braids so my closure won't move at all. This is another very important step to securing your closure down. This will ensure that your closure will not move for a few weeks, guaranteed. if you sew this down the correct way. And you want to make sure it's directly on top of the braid, your part. So you're making sure that lace is down and on there tight and secure. So the part is right where the braid is. I can feel it. And I'm just going to go ahead and sew down the line. You don't want to get too close to your part because you don't want to be able to see the thread. So make sure you're about 1 inch away from your part. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. So now I'm going to start sewing my tracks on. The main important thing you want to make sure is that you sew the tracks under the braids when you first start your first track, because when you lift your hair up, you don't want to be able to see your braids, especially if you have color like I do. So just make sure it's tucked under your braids. As I'm sewing the last track down, I am connecting it with the closure. So you want to make sure it is secure and tight and you don't see any braids or any scalp. Alright guys, so we are done with the sew-in. Now I'm just wetting my hair to make it come back to life. This hair is very, very good hair, and it was very inexpensive. I got this hair from Amazon. It was probably like $60 or $70. But I did cut it, so I don't remember the exact lengths I bought, but I will put the link in the description. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do my baby hairs. This is totally optional. You don't have to, but I want to just because my hair is red, so my edges are red, so I kind of want to make the black blend. So you want to cut some off, not too much because you still want to have enough room to swoop the baby hairs. And I'm just going to be putting Eco Styler Gel on there. That's what I like to use. That's what works for me. And my handy dandy toothbrush. And that is the finished result. Thank you for everybody who watched through the full video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Put any suggestions below, your thoughts. I like criticism. And I will show you guys a few pictures of how it looked at the end as well. And again, thank you for watching.